always see people in person and they'll always be like, oh, like the influencer, oh, well, you love social media, or like they'll all say that. And I'm like, you really actually don't know how I feel about any of it. Honestly, if I could, I would burn every cell phone on the planet. I actually like hate technology and I think it's like ruining everything. But because it's here, I'm playing the game. So that's how I look at it, like a game.
We're live. Alex Fasulo, what up? How are you? Happy Thursday. It's a damn good day.
It's a damn good day to have a damn good day.
As always, you're sporting the most just Khaleesi looking hair.
I can't help it. It was kissed by fire when I was young. So
You've always been somebody that loves to stand out. You love fashion. You love just looking good. I mean, if you go to your Instagram, you're all about it. And one thing I've loved about like your fashion sense is you love the nature feel, right? Like fall, I feel like is you. You are an extension of fall.
Yeah, I'm actually autumn in living, breathing flesh.
Hey, complete side note. I remember, I think someone in your family, they started that like camp trailer type business.
Yeah, my mom and I started it together 2 years ago now, Campfire Trailers, and it's honestly doing better than ever because it's businesses on wheels, which because of COVID has become like a very lucrative thing. So we're kind of cracking up because we're like, wow, if we had only known 2 years ago what was going to happen with it, but it's good.
Interesting. And like, I just saw recently some huge investor invested like $550 million into mobile homes because with all of the, fires and destruction happening in the world, especially on the West Coast, there seems to be a big trend of people that are going to become more nomadic and moving because we live in this new normal where you wake up in the morning. And did you see those pictures of San Francisco when it's just blackout, just terrifyingly scary?
It must be so bad there that here in New York, we're having like unseasonably cold weather. You can see the smoke in the sky. There's like a haze in front of the sun. And I hate the cold. So I'm literally like, whoever start these fires, I need to go find them and kill them because I'm freezing to death in New York State right now.
Wild how the entire world, like all corners of the US are just experiencing these climate change impacts. It's crazy. New York's colder than ever. It's like Denver. I was talking to someone in Denver. It went from bright, beautiful, and gorgeous to like 12 degrees and snowing in like 6 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. No, I'm bummed. There's like a haze in the atmosphere right now. It's blocking sunlight. I'm like, come on, man, those aren't our fires. What's going on here?
But it's also interesting with COVID because there's been this massive shift to everybody realizing like, wow, okay, well, maybe employees and people in general can be much more effective working from home a few days a week, if not all days a week. Like my role at SafeGraph is completely remote. Everything's remote. Network marketing's remote. Your freelancing business is built on the remote lifestyle. Has that been kind of like a weird blessing in disguise for everything that you're about ever since COVID hit?
Oh, I definitely think I had like a head start with the new normal. Yeah, because I've been living it for the last 5 years. So I know for a lot of people, I was like watching my roommate and stuff really struggle with it at first, going from like relying on an office setting and having coworkers that you can talk to and ask questions to just kind of being all on your own. So I feel like I kind of stepped almost into this, like, I wouldn't call it like a mentor role because sometimes that might sound like, I feel like I just stepped into this, like, where I found myself helping a lot of people suddenly on TikTok, through Instagram, whatever, of these people going like, hey, you've been doing this for 5 years, like, help me, like, what's going on? And yeah, it's been kind of a crazy year for me because it's been like a horrible year, obviously, but then for what I do, it's been a really good year professionally. So it's been a funny mix of, I don't know how to feel about it.
Well, you're kind of connected with the Fiverr corporate staff, right? The last time we spoke, you were put on this, basically funded by Fiverr on their commercials. Like you were the poster child. Faswaldo, shout out.
Yeah. Faswaldo.
Of people that have really taken this freelancing thing by storm and made an epic life out of it. do you feel like, have you seen any changes with those platforms or how they've responded to this whole thing?
Fiverr's definitely trying to capitalize from it in the sense that they're launching so many new services every week. They launched Fiverr Learn, which is their like online learning portal. They improved their affiliate program. They're definitely like expanding to become all encompassing. It used to just be digital stuff, and now people can do music lessons on there. They can, do podcast jingles, whatever. So they are definitely, I'm watching them like just do this. Sometimes it's interesting though, you don't want to do this too far at the same time to kind of lose your brand. But I don't think it would do that for them. So, they've definitely been doing quite well, I'm sure of it, because my business has been doing well on there and they get a cut of that. So I'm sure they're doing good.
It's interesting too, because like, how like you get ranked, right? So you start off and you don't have a big rank. You're typically doing stuff for pretty cheap just to kind of get some swag and get some skin in the game and get some reviews going. But then if you get to your level, you become a top rated seller. And then all of a sudden those people get pushed to the front of the line. Has it been a bit easier to kind of climb those ranks during this time than in the past?
That'd be hard to say because I'm at like the top of them, so I haven't really noticed it or not. I would say from my TikTok, I have a lot of people write into me every day on my videos and like tell me about their Fiverr journey. And I've had a ton of people write crazy stuff to me like, hey, signed up last week, already made $600. I'm like, okay. Like it appears that there's plenty of room on there and there's a lot of money flowing at all levels from the feedback that I've gotten from people. So people are always like, oh, do you think it's too saturated on there? Is there room for me? And I'm like, you know what? There absolutely is, because the feedback I'm getting is that more and more people are coming to the platform, right? Because they're taking their businesses online now. So they need freelancers to fulfill, the different things for them that they didn't know how to do. Because a lot of these people are new to the world of online, these poor like restaurants and everything that have had to just like reinvent themselves.
In the reinventing space, the big hot topic today is TikTok. The whole potential buy. It seems like Oracle is the front runner. We'll see if everything goes through after the due diligence, if that happens, which is really interesting that Oracle
Yeah, I know.
is doing it. What a like red flag. But in general, how have you seen TikTok influence being able to generate leads for your business? And most people see TikTok as this platform of just pure goofy 11 to 14-year-olds just being, crazy. But you're using it as a marketing platform. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so I joined it, I think it was in February, and then I really started to obsess over it because I was like in my mom's basement for 3 months basically while like everyone was afraid the world was going to end. So I was like, all right, let me check out this app that again, yeah, supposedly for 11-year-olds dancing around in their living room. Like, let's see if that's actually what it is. And of course, like everything, that's not all that it is, like at all. And the people who are getting on it now to position themselves as an expert in their industry are like massively capitalizing from it. Like all of the press I've gotten this year, everything good that has happened to me professionally this year has come from TikTok. I kid you not. So I like pump it up to every person that I meet. I think it's amazing. I absolutely love the app. Something like, I think 42% of the app users are under the age of 18, which means the majority of people are actually over the age of 18 on there. I think it got a bad rep. And, I think that will change in the coming months and years. I mean, hopefully if it doesn't get banned in the US, because I know they're still kind of like having issues settling on, who's going to buy it, or if ByteDance, whatever they're called, is even going to hand it over. So I really hope they do, because I'll be very sad if they don't. But to answer your first initial question here, it gets to me, I would say, a couple orders per week on Fiverr, whereas no other social media site has ever done that for me. Like Instagram, Facebook, I've never relied on my social media for leads, and all the time people on Fiverr are like, hey, I follow you on TikTok, can you write my ebook? So like that's been amazing. And like TikTok, the traffic I have on it to click on my online course link is crazy. So as far as like a lead magnet, lead capture thing, TikTok wins by far for me.
Is the transition into the Reels just as easy, or do you prefer TikTok over Reels?
Oh, I prefer TikTok. Oh my God, Reels is like a knockoff TikTok. But if you've mastered TikTok, it's really easy to use Reels, because Reels has like way less features and like cool things that you can do. So to me, it's like the knockoff TikTok. Basically.
With your content creating process, do you find it to be like pretty hard in terms of generating that new content? Are you ever just like in your room like, what am I going to post? Like, like, do you ever come into writer's block, or do you record a bunch of videos at the same time? Like, do you have help? Like, what does that look like?
Well, yeah, with TikTok, I do like bursts because you need to have, right, like you need to be in the right headspace and have some creative ideas for it. But I honestly don't put that much effort into my TikToks. Like there's some people I follow, I could tell they must spend their entire day like making their TikToks. I don't have time for that. So I'll just go on there and I'll be like, all right, in my head, I'm like, today, people ask the same questions over and over again. Like, how do I get my first reviews on Fiverr? And I keep making the videos and they keep saying make more, make more. So it's like I don't even really need to reinvent anything. I just get on there and I'm like, all right guys, today I'm going to talk about how to get more reviews on Fiverr, and I'll break it up into like 5 videos and I'm set for like 4 days. And it's the same topic over and over again, and these people still love it. Like they don't have an issue with it. And you can also respond to comments as a video. So if someone will write like, what do I need to get started freelancing? I'll respond to that in a video and go like, this is what you need to get started. It's like, I barely honestly put effort into it. I'd love to have more time to put more effort into it though. That's a goal of mine, to get more into like the video stuff and not slaving away writing all day at my laptop, but we'll get there.
In terms of your slaving away, I mean, your writing proficiency and skills, like what a superpower. I know personally, it's something that I lack to the T. Like I don't enjoy writing, and it sucks because I truly think everybody should journal. I mean, the fact is that we're growing up so quick, life goes so fast, and just to be able to collect your thoughts on a daily basis, like what an amazing thing to be able to do. Like that is so cool. I feel like the journal thing is super, it gets kind of like played off as a bit lame to people that don't really understand the concept of journaling. But I think everyone should journal. I think everyone should have a podcast. And I think everyone should learn to just write better. I personally love consuming content via audio, hence the podcast and audio books and things of that nature. But you can write an entire ebook in like a day. And sometimes these ebooks are on such different topics. Do you have a process, and you don't have to go too deep into it, obviously, that you think about when bringing on, say, today I'm going to write an ebook about space. Today I'm going to write an ebook about lizards eating caterpillars, like whatever it may be. Do you have like a mental system? Because like that creative juice, when you're just churning up new ideas, like that's intense,
Yeah, I would say actually a lot of it isn't creative because, right, I would burn out that way. So I'll tell the client, I'll say, as part of this gig, I need you to provide the title for the book, because people get so weird with that. I'm like, you come up with the title, I can fix the grammar in it. And then I always say, I need an outline from you, and it can just be the chapter topics. And they'll give me that, and that's all I'll need. And then it's actually more research based than anything. So if the first chapter is like, how do I save money? I'll literally Google, how do I save money? And then a blog will come up, 8 ways to save more money today. I'll open that blog and just kind of take from it as I go. I'm never ever plagiarizing, of course. Like I'm using that research, and then I'll cite it too. Like I'll hyperlink if I take a stat from somewhere. And that's kind of my process. It's more research than anything. I do love to learn, so I love doing it, but I can see where most people would like rather die than do that. Like most people do not want to research all day on Google to write something. Like I've had people say to me, I don't know how you do that. And I just like to learn. I think that's why I like it. But yeah, if I had to come up with all of that on my own, it would be too much. So I always say to them, you got to give me the chapter topics. Plus it helps to make sure they don't want to cancel it, right? Like, so they know what's going to be in it. So like I just had a book on Sphinx cats or whatever they're called. And I was like, you're going to have,
man, you must have loved it.
yeah, but I was like, you're gonna have to break down these chapters. I don't know what you want me to it's a big topic here. Like, are we talking about what they look like? Like, what do we, you need to meet me halfway here. So, yeah, that's what I'll do. It definitely minimizes the like creative drain.
Yeah, we share a mutual love of cats.
Oh yeah. As I look at a picture of a lion behind you.
How is your kitty?
My fat Siamese cat. She's good. She's thicker than ever. No, I try and help her manage her weight. She's actually in the basement here right now because I'm upstate. I felt she's had to move around a lot this year. I feel kind of bad.
Do you bring her on the planes a lot?
I've actually never brought her on a plane, and I just got a Jeep. So I think wherever I go, I'll just be driving her with me because she's not a good traveler. She has really bad kitty anxiety. So I don't know if I put her on an airplane. She's also old. Like she's 17, almost 18. So I try and like make it easy on her.
I've been deep deep in the sauce about Bengal cats because I'm going to be getting my own
Yeah.
place in a few months. And I just feel like I want to pull the trigger on 2 Bengal cats and go all in on it. What are your thoughts there?
Absolutely. They're freaking gorgeous. I would literally fly to come visit you just to take pictures with your cats and maybe say hi to you.
They're just gorgeous creatures. And then
They're
the whole concept of having an indoor cat versus an outdoor cat. I've always had outdoor cats, but now I'm learning more and more, like just how invasive cats are to an ecosystem. So it's actually, in a sense, better to keep a cat indoor. My natural instinct is that's weird because, like, we're from New York. My cats can come and go as they please outside, but you would need to have that kind of indoor lifestyle, which I don't know, I'm trying to figure out.
we used to let our cats go outside, and then we had one summer when I was like 11 where 2 of our cats got hit by a car, and that was like we just couldn't bear it. We couldn't deal with that. So ever since then we've had indoor cats because I selfishly don't want them to die. So that's it.
Fair enough. Fair
Please
enough.
don't die. Yeah, that's it.
When you're making these audiobooks, I mean, and when you're making ebooks on any topic, do you ever just like look at a topic and you're just like, ugh, no, I'm just not going to do that?
Yes. Yeah, I can't handle really intense science stuff where I need to go through 4,000 scientific studies with all these 14-letter words that I've never heard of because I'm not a doctor. Like that stuff, I'm like, I can't do this because I don't have the education for this. Like, I don't know what these words even mean. So I can't do that. I really hate writing about finance stuff. Finance and taxes. I'm like, can we not? Please, can you pick someone else? Like, I can't do this for you. Um, those are really only the two I'd say, like scientific study stuff. Like I'll do writing for psychologists. Like if it's a more user friendly, like talk about the imposter syndrome or something like that, got it, no problem. But if it's like, talk about these 14 new studies that claim that humans are actually descendants of fish, and here's why, and then I'm like, okay, I can't do that for you. And I don't have a big like financial education background, so when people want me to write on like the breakdown of the stock market, I'm like, I just can't do that for you. So I'm always honest with them, but besides that, I will write about it, literally anything else.
Last time we spoke, you were thinking about like the complexities of bringing on assistants to help, right?
Yeah.
The richest people in the world, the most successful people in the world do the thing that's one of the hardest things. It's outsourcing and doing it on a scalable basis, giving it like the hardest thing I found about outsourcing is you find one person, right? That they're just like, you think they're amazing, right? And you invest a lot of time and it doesn't work out and it just breaks your mental heart. You're like, oh, I don't, it's going to be so much. You run into that situation with having like different people and vetting people and making sure they're on the same flow. I have a good friend, Sky Cohen's. She's an awesome YouTuber on health and wellness. She just hit the 100K mark. Her videos are literally amazing. She'll be like one of the biggest YouTubers one day. But she
Yeah.
was saying how much she struggles to give up the keys to the engine when it comes to creative ability and stuff. Have you ever thought about like you've launched this new course teaching people how to do what you do? And for everyone listening, that's incredible. I mean, like you made it so easy to come on, turnkey, learn everything that inside of an easy course. I think more people need to take courses in general. It's such a hack. First of all, you can go to like udemy.com and you can buy a course on anything, any skill, SEO, SEM, how to train parrots, rabbits, whatever it may be for like $10, $15,
Yeah, no, I honestly made those courses because so many people asked me to. Like I didn't even wake up one day and go, I'm going to make an online course. Is so many hundreds of people were like, for the love of God, can you make 1 or 2 courses where you explain what you do? And I'm like, yeah, if you guys want me to. And then it was perfect because this guy called me from Utah in June and he was like, hey, I just found you on TikTok and I want to fly you out here and make your online courses for you. And I was like, done, because I've always wanted to go to Utah. So it just kind of like fell into place that way. But yeah, I ended up just doing it because everyone kept asking me to. So I was like, all right, guys, I'll do it. So I did it and I made 2 of them. One of them is just in general, like on freelancing in general, which I think like everyone probably wants to watch today because everyone's moving towards freelancing, right? And then the other one's specifically for copywriters. So yeah, but I don't know, it was good. It's called Mentor Camp. It's a good idea. I mean, the guy set it up where when you buy access, I'm only one of like 13 experts it's like a whole marketplace when you go into it, basically. So I think it's like really awesome value for people because I don't know, all the other experts do crazy stuff. There's like acrobatics, and if you want to learn how to bend backwards.
Yeah. Whenever I see people that do all those flips, like you
Yeah,
see, like you'll just be scrolling through the gram and you'll just see some dude just like rock like
flipping.
50 flips in a row, like on a beach. And you're just like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
can you just learn that? Is that something if I'm like, yo, it's time to start flipping, or is that something you got to start young? What do you think?
I don't know. I can tell you this does not flip. I can't even touch my toes, so I don't know how those people do that.
It's insane.
Yeah.
In terms of that actual outsourcing element, have you
Yeah.
brought people onto the team, or do you have any challenges
Yes.
around that?
No, I have, and I actually have been secretive about it because I didn't know at first if it was allowed with Fiverr. So I've actually had the most unbelievable guy writing with me for the last 2 years now, and I think I'm at a point where they said that it's okay, and I'm at a point where I've like done the thing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna start sharing what's actually happening here. So you heard it here first, but no, I have one guy who helps me with like product description stuff, and then I have another guy who I just found last month to help me with these ebooks because I can't write 14 ebooks in a week or I'm gonna die. So it's been, it's always hard. Yeah, like each step, I go very slow with adding people. Like, and I have my app guy, I consider part of my little like Fasulo ecosystem. I have my one friend, my like publicist PR guy in Florida, who I also consider. So it's slowly coming. It's like me plus four guys, I guess, probably because I'm kind of guyish, even though I don't look it. So
Guyish.
I am. I definitely am. I'm very like dude-ish, even though
I
I'm
did.
tiny. Yeah. But yeah, no, I totally understand that. It's a really, really scary feeling to hand over control of anything that you made. So I'm very slow at it, but I do know it's necessary. So I always like pat myself. I add like one person per year. That's like the pace I go at.
It's interesting because like the more I've gone into just needing work for my own business and stuff, you start meeting people and you see that all of these freelancers are so interconnected, right? Like they're their own, consultant, entrepreneur, what you name it,
Yeah.
but they have this community of people that are all working together. Like the woman that designed my website, ianlenhart.com, you can check it out. It's gorgeous. It's just a gorgeously designed website.
I might have to check that out because I had my website done this year and I can't stand it. I think it looks terrible. So I'm looking for someone who could make a really nice website. So I might text you about that.
So like the designer though had a friend that actually builds the website, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another person that does like SEO on the website. And then there's another person that does like creative on the website. So there's like different elements. You can obviously take one element as you please, and then
Yeah.
everyone works together. But it's like if you can build that ecosystem of people you can refer leads to, they refer leads back. Those
Right.
are the most successful people. Would you agree?
100%. I've over the last 5 years, I'm slowly starting to get like my network this year is like finally gotten to a place where I'm like, all right, this is awesome. Like I have my one friend in Miami who does book marketing. So I refer him clients obviously who want their books marketed. And then anytime they sign up for anything, I get a little bit commission for it. Like it's all good. I love it.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
because it's in Amazon limited their affiliate commissions recently too.
Yeah.
And it's like in more ways to get creative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're seeing a whole shift in just the way people think about things, and it's exciting if you think it's exciting, right?
That's a great way to put it. I think it's exciting, but I also know a lot of people who are like, oh my God, make it stop. This is happening too fast. Help me.
I feel like I struggle with truly loving marketing. Like I don't love marketing. I like podcasting. I like good vibes. I like the brand deal. I like building the brand is so fun and awesome. But like to make copyright in an email, like and just be like, oh, look at that open rate. Yes. Like it doesn't get me stoked. It doesn't get me excited to like spend all day and night getting it right and like growth hacking. I believe that the people that truly have a passion for growth hacking and like are reading all those books 24/7 blogs everywhere you look are going to be the most successful people because it's a hobby that generates so much value to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you. My sister hates marketing. I always crack up because I'm always like, why aren't you promoting your clothing and like all this other stuff? And she's always like, because I hate it. Like, I hate it, Alex. I'm like, I mean, I don't know if I love it. I guess I just like get it though. I get it. I get marketing. So here I am.
I was recently talking with some sales sort of guru experts, you name it, whatever. And there was just like an open conversation about strategies to build your network and build more sales. And, one of the biggest things that the most successful people that are closing millions of dollars a year, whether that be in their own business, whether that be a quota at their job, is they're looking at the news, right? Something so simple. They're looking at companies and what they're releasing. They're looking at their PR. They're seeing what's going on. And then they're leveraging those incidents to create custom outreach to those people surrounding the incident with a solution. Instead of like blank cold emails, it's way more highly targeted. And the point I'm trying to get at here is that scrolling like is so interesting if you can master, because like I know sometimes I spend endless hours scrolling on Instagram because like I see a reel of a cat, or like I see something that just captures me and I just go deep down like have you ever seen those pictures of bugs that are super super close pictures, like 100x scaled magnifications of bugs?
Maybe.
They literally look like aliens. You realize like, holy shit, like we live on a planet of aliens. They're just really really tiny. Like it's scary. But you start scrolling through and start seeing all these different things. Before you know it, you just get lost. But if you can change that scroll to get excited about looking at company events, like if you read the news and actually like look at what's going on in the world, you're so much better equipped to be more productive throughout the day. So like I recently made Twitter. Like I never had Twitter, and I use Twitter sincerely, truly as a tool where I only follow businesses I'm trying to talk to, people I want to have on the podcast, anybody that like I'm using as little like references to be able to contact and grow my network. Like I like looking at it as I look at Twitter as LinkedIn. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's how I look at every social media site. Like, I remove my emotion from it, kind of, if that makes sense.
No, tell me more about that.
Yeah, because like I always see people in person and they'll always be like, oh, like the influencer, oh, well, you love social media, or like they'll all say that, and I'm like, you really actually don't know how I feel about any of it. Honestly, if I could, I would burn every cell phone on the planet. I actually like hate technology, and I think it's like ruining everything. But because it's here, I'm playing the game. So that's how I look at it, like a game. If I put X amount of effort into Instagram, X amount of effort into whatever, it will return back in the form of business, press, new entrepreneurial friends around the world that I've never met in person. So I look at it like a little game each day when I get on. Totally remove my emotional feeling about it. And I just look at it like a business. It's business to me. But when I'm like out to dinner with friends, like I turn my phone over. I do not care about if you commented on my Instagram post or not. I put that post up strategically for business purposes. So I think some people like tie in their emotions with it too much. And I'm like, no, just use it as a business tool. That's all. It's a good one.
Yeah, because you would full-fledged just go in the woods and be out if you could.
Oh my God. I all the time threaten to people, like it probably pisses them off. And I'm always like, all right, it's happening. Got my Jeeps. Time to go to that cabin in the woods. Gonna give no one the address. Gonna write 6 books. Grow my hair out to my ankles. That's it.
That's
I
your
deep
happy
down,
place.
yeah, like deep down, I really want to do that, but I'm refraining for now.
What's like, would you ever go and build a cabin, like a custom cabin?
I mean,
Like a custom
probably.
little Gucci cabin with like one of those fireplaces that heats up a hot tub and like has its
Oh,
own
yeah.
like outdoor oven deal.
Oh, that sounds like paradise. My mom honestly could probably build it because she's like learned how to build these trailers because she's just like a boss. So I'd probably be like, Mom, build me a cabin. She'd be like, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's this like Instagram account I follow that's they build these beautiful cabins in like Seattle or something, and you can rent
Ooh,
them, right?
I
And
might need to follow.
then there's some supermodel woman with like 10 million followers that somehow fell in love with the lone cabin builder, and now she brings in the heat and like he has the cabins, and it's a great beautiful
I'm
relationship.
sure.
but it's interesting to like do stuff like that more. I recently bought, a Toyota 4Runner, shout out, big fan. I've been wanting it for so long, and I was rocking the scooter, I was just ripping a scooter, 23 mph, just, doing what I got to do. Like, I didn't like the car life, honestly, like it's too much. But now I have this car to encourage activities that bring happiness, kayaking, getting up and just going and exploring nature. Like the other day, I'm sitting in my car, just in the parking lot of the house I'm living in. And I'm just watching this gecko creep up on a fly. And it's just slowly creeping. It's trying to be as sneaky as possible. The fly sitting there, and I'm rooting for this gecko. This is a little sidetracked, right? But next thing you know, the gecko is just about to stick his long ass tongue and catch that fly. And then the UPS, Amazon Prime dude just rolls in out of nowhere, drops off the package, fly's gone. It was honestly like the perfect definition of how like humans are destroying the planet, in my opinion, on such a micro scale.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I did find it fascinating during the peak of COVID this spring, the images of the earth healing itself around the world, and there were like dolphins in the Venice Canal and everything, and it kind of made, I think it made people wonder like, oh, is this so bad because the planet's healing now? So like, this year's been so like, what's worse, weighing everything.
Well, you're thinking of moving as well, right? And you said that. What are your top 3 that you're thinking?
So I want to check out more southern cities because I'm just sick of freezing to death. So I was going to this winter, like do a little Airbnb residency. I'd like to get to know Charleston more, all of Florida, obviously Miami. Savannah, Georgia too, I hear is awesome. Austin, I've never been to Texas, so I would love to just like do the whole Texas thing. I'd love to move somewhere there's no state income tax, if we're going to be honest. So
yeah,
Florida, Texas are on the top of my list. But I've about had it with freezing to death. And unfortunately, I don't feel safe in New York City anymore, which sucks because it's been my home for the last 5 years. But I'm good with change. So it's like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So it did what it needed to do,
Well, it's so cool. You can just literally just go get a lease somewhere and you're moved.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I got that Jeep. So I can just like live in my Jeep with my cat if I have to.
That sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, I love this whole like moving deal. Like I lived in LA, I lived in San Diego, I lived in SF, I did California, I did the income taxes like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just like changing it up has been so good for my psyche, right? Like sometimes you just need a blank page, right? Like you don't know the people, you don't know the places. It's like sometimes you just get bored of walking to the same coffee shop day in, day out, which is why I'm always so torn about buying property, right? I'm always so torn because it's like part of me like, yeah, I get it. Like you want to get out of the rent trap. Makes a lot of sense, right? But the other part of me is like, number one, I don't want to buy a full-time job or side. That's literally what buying a house is. Like I've seen my friends, it's so much work. But at the same time, I don't want to be stuck in a location for too long. But then there's rental income, but then there's so many different types of incomes. There's a lot to talk about around that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm the exact same way. Like this year, I was debating finally starting to buy real estate because everyone's like, why the F don't you own real estate yet, Alex? And I'm like, because I can't pick one place I want to be. Like, I can pick a place and get it an Airbnb it while I'm not there. Eventually, I'll probably do that. But I just don't know where I want to be planted yet.
Right. And then the idea, right, if you get a condo, you can buy the condo, fix it up, rent it out, and all of a sudden it's a cash flow thing deal.
Sure.
And that makes sense, right?
That makes sense. That's all stuff I wanted. So I'm like trying to work towards possibly getting even one more writer and get to a place where I'm not doing all of the heavy lifting of the writing every day, so I can start doing all these other cool things. That's my goal. I have to let go of the reins.
Yeah, but you're all about grinding right now. You're all about, you get that. You get it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the cool thing about you is because you work so much, you're not spending all your money either.
No. The Jeep was my first like splurge since starting this whole thing. I haven't splurged on anything. Like I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And it's going to be on this Jeep because this Jeep is going to give me the flexibility and freedom that I love. So I'm doing it.
There's like, when I was younger in the whole Vima world, people that know this podcast know I'm in direct sales, and I broke the exclusive story with BK Barreco and the story of Vima. Big fan of network marketing to this day. I think it's like one of the greatest entrepreneurial experiences. For me, it was like literally the greatest fraternity of business people I've ever joined, honestly, because it kind of weeds out the entrepreneuric type of profiles. So like when I moved to Miami, there's already like a dozen people from that ecosystem that live here that builds a foundation of people I can talk to and hang out with. The point I was trying to get at is that when looking at that entire ecosystem of people and places that you can go, there's just so much networking that's capable of just being inside of those groups. If you can have really good groups that you're working in, you can make those connections, make those friendships. And like,
Yeah.
if you have the connection, that's life. Like, I'm looking into venture capital and like learning more about that type of business. I think it's something I want to get into in the future. Like not being the one who does finances, but being the one that brings the deals in. But if like you know what's going on before the world goes on, I'm not talking insider trading. I'm talking just having a leg up because of friends and connections. Like your life is just in such an easier position to be lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I've had people approach me too about, since I'm on Fiverr, that I know all of these cutting edge businesses, apps, app ideas, startups before anyone else does, which is true. But half of them will say to me like, please don't share this with anyone yet. And I always like crack up because I know about it before the world does. And I mean, people would be surprised. There's some pretty high profile people who come through Fiverr that I'm not allowed to say who, but like there's days when I open up orders and I'm like, wow, this is okay. This person is famous.
One thing that's growing so quick is community and people that are being able to build community groups. And I'm talking two things. There's free communities, right? Which act as traffic drivers, just like TikTok and everything we just spoke about. But then there's
Yeah.
these paid communities where people are paying to be a part of a community, like a writing community or, a podcasting community or, literally a builders community. It's basically, I feel like it's taking over as this new method of connecting. It's also interesting, for every health issue in the world, there's a community, like you name it. You can join and go on Facebook and search your issues, and there's a group there of people that have that issue. And I encourage everybody that has any problem in their life to join the community that addresses that problem. We spend so much time trying to think of creative ways to solve our problems, and really, we're just a Google search away to quickly solve your problem. You've been able to bridge that gap to do something that takes people 3 or 4 months. You can do 14 in a month when writing these ebooks, which is crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree 100% with that.
Interesting times, interesting, exciting things. I moved to Miami, first of all, because I love sunshine as well. The cold
Yeah.
makes me sad and depressed, right? And that's what I found, just like when I get salt in my car and it just starts effing everything up, right? No salt, I'm happy. But the fishing aspect and just being able to be on the boats and the sunshine, I think you'd love it, but it doesn't have the mountains and you'd probably hate that.
How do you know that about me? How'd you know that?
I mean, what do you mean? Adirondacks all day? Like you love the woods?
Yeah,
Like, let's be real. Florida is not the best place to find like woods. Like,
I know. That's like, right, because if Florida had mountains, I feel like I'd already be there. That's exactly it. I mean, I'm going to Arizona in 4 days. That's hands down my favorite state. So I don't know if it's smoky there right now or not, but
AZ.
yeah.
Exciting. Yeah. I mean, California is the whole package, right? Which is why people get sold on the California dream, because there is the mountains, the beach, the warm weather, the cold weather, like for the short drive away. But I don't know. I think California, and I think a lot of people I know are leaving California. And I think that there's going to be a big shift into cities like Austin. We already see it in Denver. I think Florida is going to become much bigger. Predictions, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know everyone I know is leaving New York State and California. I think a big reason of it is the taxes. When there's other states in our country where you don't have to pay any of that, it's kind of just like, hey, this is my money I could just keep and
Yeah.
donate and like help an animal out with or something.
And then when you like really start learning about compound residual income and like, or not even
Right.
residual, just compound income in general, you see the stories. If you invest like $500 at 7% in a mutual fund that can earn anywhere between 5 to 10% in a year. Over 30 years, you have $1 million or something along those lines. Once you like get excited about that, that stoke of building that nest egg gets more excited than the stoke of spending. That's a point I completely missed. And I just like went around the route earlier, but I was talking about with working, like if you work a lot, right? Obviously you don't experience life, but if you're working, you're not spending. And if you can get excited about like just the idea of building your nest egg, storing and saving money, you have that just the freedom of just not being paycheck to paycheck. That
Yeah.
is probably one of the quickest, most rewarding things anybody can get to. And it's tough for freelancers when they start because like there's no path forward. That's why so many people fail, I'm assuming, right? They're not seeing the guide of how to address certain situations that they spend a whole day on, which they shouldn't. Do you see that with the freelancing community? Like they start freelancing, but then they just get swallowed up?
Oh yeah, I think so many people quit, and that's why I think when you're stubborn as I am and you stick with it for a few years, there's a big return because not many people stick with it. So yeah, I mean, when I first started out, I wasn't earning a lot per order that I was doing, but instead of being like, oh, this isn't enough, what am I like, whatever will I do? I was like, well, I just need more orders then. So I signed up on Upwork, I signed up on other places, and I offered to do social media management for people I knew in person. Like I was willing to do anything to make this lifestyle work for myself. And then I really think if you're stubborn enough to do that for a few years, it will pay off because no one else will stick with it.
Yeah,
You
and
got
you can learn those skills. Like if you want to do social media management, you can learn those skills just taking a few courses.
I mean, if you're a millennial, you basically are already born with the skills to like social media manage for someone. So
And then if you just hustle your ass off and you call business
hustle your
owners like,
ass off.
listen, Mr. Business Owner, I know you don't know what you're doing. I'm looking at it right now. Clearly you ain't doing it right. I can do it for $1,000 a month.
Yep,
$1,000 a month sold. All of a sudden you just made 12,000 ARR, which you could then outsource to somebody to do it for you, and you pocket 600 or 700 a month.
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it's all how people look at it. It's always your mindset.
And then the
With
sales
everything in life.
mentality and just like being down with the like being down to do it. That's the
Yeah,
toughest thing. Like it's complicated, but it's just like doing it. Like I found with the podcast, like unfortunately I had to like not do the podcast for a while, like almost a month and a half, which killed me inside because like when you're consistent at something and you're not consistent anymore, you feel like you're letting down yourself, your
yeah.
dreams, and the world, right? It's just like your
Oh, I
own
get
mental
that.
battles, right? But you have to, if you are consistent at something, before you know it, people start to see you in a different light. They start to see you in a different brand. You don't have to be the best. It's like the shoe tying method. Like if you can tie your shoes better than 80% of the population, like, you got potential there. You can do something. And people
Right.
don't realize that they have potential. It's like interesting to empower all those people that have potential to just use it. That's a
Yeah.
pretty exciting niche of time that we're in right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like how I spend honestly half my day at this point. So I get so many messages on Instagram, TikTok, email, and I like can't go to bed unless I answer all of them and help people. I'm like, I didn't help that person today. I have to answer them.
Are you the type of person that like if you see a bunch of unread emails, you cringe, or are you the type of person that has like 10,000 emails unread?
Oh no, I read no, there's not. My inbox says zero right now.
It's
I'll go once we're done with this. I'll go check the latest three that rolled in. I'll either delete, sort into a folder, or respond.
so satisfying.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
No,
well,
I don't know how people do that when I see like someone's phone, even like 48 unread text messages. I'm like, someone texted you. Like,
the beginnings of a serial killer. Oof.
totally. I'm like, don't you want to know what they said at least? Like, what if they told you your cousin just got like hit by a car or something?
I
Hopefully that's
know.
not what it says, but
I've also didn't never really realized the filtering aspects of Gmail. Like you can do so much cool filtering that just like
yeah,
saves your life. Like if you get how many people here have unsubscribed from the same email like 4,000 times, right?
right.
And it still comes your way. Well, you can filter out that exact email like that based on the subject lines and like where it's coming from. So it never even makes it to your eyes. So definitely check out the custom Google filtering. You can also do things with forwarding where emails that come in automatically forward to a different email if you're all about that organization life.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, this has been fun. every time I talk to you, it's fun. You're always making moves. Like when I hear you, you churn ideas in my own brain about how I can get going and be better. I mean, you're like a star example of somebody that is self-motivated. You and your cat taking on the world.
Yeah.
And you probably spend a lot of time with yourself. And I think that that's really interesting because something I admire about you is I feel like you love being alone. And in my opinion, like you have to love being alone to ever really be happy, you know?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I feel like I fall somewhere in the middle of it because I spend a lot of my life alone now, but I do also hit that point where I'm like, oh my God, I need to see people later. I'm going to like die right now. I feel like I'm like an ambivert, which can be a pain sometimes because I need to add something into it. Yeah, because my lifestyle and my business is very solitary. Like, you know, I like both.
Right. And that's great. But you can play that other way. Right. Like if you can be happy by yourself, you can be happy. Right. If you need someone else or something to make that happiness happen, then it's tough, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think of most people I know, I'm probably one of the most like content person because yeah, just being is enough for me. And I think that has to do a lot with being successful in business, being a happy person and all that good stuff.
Well, Faswaldo, if you had to say anything to the peeps that are interested in getting into freelancing, they're interested in going out there, starting to earn some money on the side, or just, learn more about this ecosystem to do what you do, how can people contact you? What should people do?
All right. I would say the most helpful resource, as long as it doesn't get deleted, is my TikTok is filled with like invaluable information and videos. You can just binge for an hour and you'll be ready to go. So my username on that is Alex Fasulo Biz with a Z. My next most helpful resource is probably my Instagram. I have like Instagram Reels, IGTV videos up. That's my full name, Alexandra Fasulo. I do have a YouTube. I'm really bad about updating it. I think it's just Alexandra Fasulo again. And I have a website that I like hate how it looks. I'm going to try and fix it, but it's like functioning. So if you want, that's alexfasulo.com. I have some issues here with the Alex versus Alexandra, if you haven't noticed. So working on that. Got to figure that one out.
There it is. I love it. I'm grateful. Next time you come to Florida, I feel like people are finally starting to travel again.
Yeah.
We got things to do.
And now that I know you're there, I didn't know you moved. That surprised me.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and I'm like gonna pull the trigger on these cats. It's like the same thing with the car. I was like, yeah, should I do it? And like ultimately, it's like, yeah, I need these.
Yeah.
Cats. I need to learn the lesson myself.
You absolutely need to get those two cats. I approve.
Crazy Cat Jones, here I come.
Crazy Cat Jones. There you go.
All right, Alex, I appreciate you. Till next time.
All right. Bye, Crazy Cat Jones.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Len Jones Party of Two. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review and subscribe to stay up to date on our new episodes. And remember, hope is not a strategy. Keep making moves. Till next time, peace.